Hello, listeners. This is your Lalita Rao, and I welcome you all to Anubhav, a joint project of National Institute of Social Defense, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, and Media for Community Foundation, implemented by Nightingales Medical Trust. Project conceived by Dr. R. Sridhar, Project Investigator Alok Verma, Coordinators Pooja Murada, Sai Sudha, and Kaushalya. Government of India has initiated Elder Line toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for any questions, queries, and support to elderly. Anecdotes of funny situations. I was working as a teacher and had to leave the house in the early morning as the school bus would arrive first to my house, and I had to pick up all the kids and reach the school. In the evening again, I had to drop all the kids and would be the last to get off the bus. So it meant a lot of time outside the house. I had to get all the work done in the morning in a hurry and return late in the evening. My husband and my son were not very fond of doing household work, so I was hoping to find a help who would help me in the kitchen and stay home so she could run errands in my absence. My friend said she knew a young lady who had no one as she lost her parents, her husband, and being childless, was lonely and needed help and a place to stay. I thought it was a good idea and I could train her, get her to stay with me, and it would be a help to her too. That way, I too would get some help. Her name was Nirmala. I realized later that I had to face a lot of problems doing this. The first morning, I made the food, arranged everything on the table for my husband and son, gave everyone breakfast. I packed my lunch and told her to make the rice. I kept the rice with the exact water and put the whistle on top of the cooker. I told her, Nirmala, switch on the gas just half an hour before the dinner lunch is served, and after 3 whistles, you switch off the gas. Rice will be done and it will be hot. When I returned in the evening, my husband and son complained that rice was not cooked. When I asked Nirmala what happened, she said, You said to switch off after 3 whistles, madam. I whistled 3 times and switched it off. Oh my God. They all had to eat only chapati and curry that day. Every day I was trying to teach her to learn some work. I soaked rice and dal and told her to grind it nicely in the grinding stone. I was not sure she could manage a mixie. I told her, put little by little water on the head of the stone while grinding so that it will be easy and it will move smoothly. That night, she had a bad cold and was not well. When I asked her how she got so sick so soon, she replied, I kept putting water on my head while grinding. So I caught this cold. My God, I meant the head of the grinding stone and not her head. What a genius she was, I thought. I told her the idli batter has to rise after fermenting, so it would give fluffy and nice idlis. Next morning, her eyes were red and she looked so sleepy and tired. When enquired, she said, I was sitting in front of the idli batter and watching it to rise and could not sleep. What a faithful cook, I thought. I really felt exasperated. When making tea, I told her that after boiling water, milk, tea, and sugar. You should strain and serve. Next day, I made shavia or vermicelli payasam, and when I tried to serve it, it was without vermicelli or cashew nut or resins. I asked her and I realized she had strained everything and thrown it out like the tea leaves. Oh my God. That day, I kept the butter on the stove and told her, the, let it boil, and when it boils, slowly it'll be making some sound and it'll become ghee later on. And by the time it becomes ghee, the sound will subside. I left. When I came back, I saw she was sitting in front of the stove. The butter had become ghee and burnt, and even the vessel was charred. I ran and switched off the stove and said, "What have you done?" Then she said, "There was so much of sound, noise everywhere in the house. The sound of the cars going outside, children playing, and hawkers calling out. I was waiting for the noise to subside, as you said, and still it's going on," she said. My God, can someone be so stupid? I thought. Well, let me try something else. That day I was making spinach curry. So I cleaned it and cut it very small and showed her before making the dish. Next day, when I asked her to cut the bhindi for the curry, as I was in a hurry, and when I came back to make the curry, bhindi was in shreds. She was trying to cut it like spinach. Oh my God. Then I had asked her to cut the karela and keep it ready. I found that she had just sliced the edge and she was going on rubbing it, like the cucumber she had seen me morning doing, so that to remove the bitterness. She said, "I'm trying to remove the bitterness, but it's not going at all." Oh my God. How she can compare one with the other. Cucumber and Karelas are such different things. Well, I asked her to put it away. I felt this is going to be hopeless, my training of this girl. When I asked her to get the peas peeled and ready, I found after returning that only the shells remained there and she was trying to cut them. She had thrown all the pods and she felt they were seeds, like the chow chow, where I had removed the seeds and thrown it and used only the flesh. And she was trying to cut the outer shells. She was more a nuisance than a help. Next day, I asked her to wash cauliflower and keep it ready for the curry. When I returned after bath, I smelt of phenyl and Lysol. I asked her, "What was the matter? I just asked you to cut it and clean it and keep it." She said she had seen the maid clean the floor with Lysol and phenyl, and the maid had told her the phenyl and the Lysol will kill germs and clean nicely. So she got the brilliant idea of washing the vegetables with the same. I was exasperated and sent her to an orphanage. I just could not manage her. It was too much for me. I realized having her was more a problem and a double work for me. They say in Kannada, "Alu madiddu halu." What we do is the best. This is about the illiterate bird brain Nirmala and my training her to improve her IQ. I got a nice experience. I learned a lot. Now I recall some other funny incidents that had taken place some time back. Once we had to attend a marriage function early in the morning. We were still half sleepy. It was dark, and my brother went to the bathroom to brush his teeth. He suddenly jumped and cried out. I wondered what happened. He had by mistake put shaving cream on the toothbrush instead of the paste. What a mistake it was. He had to keep washing his mouth the whole time. In the airlines, they instruct before taking off about the safety jacket, and it is meant for emergency. Some fellow quickly took out the jacket and wore it and sat when the air hostess came and asked him why he was wearing it now. It was meant for emergency. He said, Madam, I never wait till emergency comes. I expect it anytime and I am always prepared for it. Oh, some people are not manageable. Sometimes language problems can create humorous as well as embarrassing situations. When a student from outside state had come to our class, he wanted to wish the teacher in Bengali. He was very enthusiastic about learning Bengali. And he asked us, one of the mischievous boys in the class told him to say, Ami tumake bhalo bhashi. That means, I like you very much. I love you. Innocently, he said it to the teacher, who was an unmarried lady. She blushed and she immediately left the class. He was in utter confusion, not knowing the mistake he had made. A friend of mine mixed up genders while talking, and I got terribly confused with her talk. She used to say he for she and she for he, so that in the end I couldn't understand anything that she said. Well, we were playing shuttle every evening in Calcutta, and one day Lalita, that is senior tennis champion's wife to be, came late and kept saying, Hope I'm disturbing you. I hope I'm disturbing you. She meant she was not, she was a disturbance and we had to excuse her. But what can I say? I did not know what to say. Well, a friend of mine was frightened of her father, who had arranged for her interview with a boy. She was not keen on getting married to him, but had no guts at all to say so to her father. So she planned something. She switched salt for sugar on that day, and when coffee was served, you can imagine the catastrophe. The boy left without drinking coffee and never responded. Anyway, she was saved from that. Some of the things I have told you will raise the question if anybody can be so stupid. Well, educated as we are, not well versed in the modern technology, feel frustrated when we can't manipulate or manage a mobile or do some activity like that. I sent a message. I send messages when sometimes it goes completely wrong and appears at the other end in a different way. The other day, I wished my daughter in law, Suman. When she received it, it had been spelt as Susan. I had renamed her altogether differently. So far, An illiterate, simple soul like Nirmala. Everything must have been baffling. Can we blame her?
Thank you, Lalita ma'am. That was funny indeed. I hope our listeners enjoyed it as well. Stay tuned to Hiriya Ravani for more of such amazing programs. Government of India has initiated Elder Line toll-free number 14567. Elders or anyone on behalf of elders can call between morning 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for any questions, queries and support to elderly. Bye for now. Take care.